Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions regarding this watch. Today, we have the FP Journe Octa Divine in a form no longer made. Before I jump any deeper, a little bit of Divine intervention. Let's talk about this model and its history. So there are two different references prior to 2024. The D and the DN. This is the DN. Now, the DN, I'm going to be very specific about this, was a 2017 to 2023 40 millimeter or 42 millimeter Octa Divine with a rotating seconds disc. Now, there was also a reference D, which was 36 to 40 millimeters and was made from 2008 to 2020. Since 2023, this bezel-style dial, which features a polished steel bezel, has given way to one that features a guilloche pattern and not the bezel. So there have been several different styles and even different references within the Octa Divine collection. So now this is also black label. Well, what does that mean? It means that not only is it a watch only available through FP Journe boutiques and espace, and Journe is almost completely vertical with their own distribution and retail today, but you also need to be a prior proven purchaser of FP Journe new watches. Last I heard, the qualifying purchase, it wasn't just one watch. It's a dollar amount. It's somewhere between $400,000 and $500,000 to even qualify to buy this watch or this model line, the Black Label series, through a Journe place of sale. So very exclusive. There are also restrictions on how many of a given model can be made Black Label in a given year. So even if you meet all the qualifiers, if they've already made a few of them, you might be put on hold until the next year or the year after that. So this watch right here in platinum is the 40 millimeter case size. So the 40 millimeter case size here combines with a roughly 48.1 millimeter lug-to-lug dimension, a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs, and an 11 millimeter thickness. The 40 on my wrist is a pretty good fit. The 42 is a bit too big for me. It's interesting to note that there was a 36 millimeter Octa Divine. That is avidly sought by collectors, but the 40 for many is going to be the sweet spot. And you can see that down the barrel, especially as the strap breaks in and I don't have to pull it so tight, this is going to fit well. I'd recommend this for a wrist as small as 15 centimeters circumference, so just a little bit smaller than my wrist, especially if your wrist is oval. And then you can see it's pretty flat with the domed bezel, so it will slide underneath a dress cuff. And it is a dress watch par excellence. No money saved on the strap. You can see it is large, rectangular, symmetrical scale alligator on top and small round scale on the bottom. Much more expensive to use gator on the bottom rather than a calfskin lining. A few $100s more per strap, but it lasts that much longer. No crimping, no gouging, brand new Journe factory strap. You can see that right here. We have pull tab spring bars. You can pop the straps off without tools because the lugs are drilled very close to the case to aid in small wrist fit. A curved spring bar is used, so there's no impediment to the motion of the strap. It's not held under pressure against the side of the case. That's what the curved spring bar does. And we have Journe's pin buckle, which is a simple piece in platinum to match the watch. Okay, the case is famous by now. We have these lugs that turn down almost 90 degrees from the case band. They're blended into the case band, Calatrava or Portugueser style. That is, they're not stepped. We have a case band defined by the overlapping flange of the case back and the bezel, a domed bezel. Journe's distinctive crown. You can see it is double dimple and knurled, unbranded, but you know exactly who made this. Now, taking a look at the dial. So here we have a combination of different elements. We have the center dial, which is blackened, the outer dial, which is silver white. We have Journe font numerals that wax and wane. And then we've got all of the features of the dial hiding within the center. Now, some people ask, Tim, what's the difference between the Octa Divine and something like the Octa Lune, and it's generally going to be the hands at the center. That's the big difference. There are others, but that's the big one. Now we have a moon phase that's actually a metallized sapphire disc. Because this is the DN reference, we have the scrolling seconds disc, which I kind of prefer to the small seconds hand on the reference D. Then we have a power reserve indicator that says 120, but 120 is the chronometric power reserve. Keep it within 120 hours, and it will keep best time. Though, in fact, if you wind it all the way and let it go till it stops, it'll run more like 160 hours, almost 7 days. We have a Grande Date. It is a double-digit date, but note that they're flush discs. That's somewhat difficult to achieve and not terribly common with double-digit dates. There's a quick set for the date. There's a quick set for the moon. There is not a hacking seconds function. Turning it all over, we've got a movement that is made of solid gold. It is made literally of platinum on the outside and gold on the inside. So a platinum and gold watch, it must be pretty weighty. It is. 18 karat for the bridges and plates, 22 karat for the rotor. There's a nice Grand d'Orge or barleycorn style. If you look at that, it's a little bit like Clou de Paris, but it has a diminishing scale as it moves towards the center or origin point. We also have polishing here. We have circular Côte de Genève on the bridges. We have a bevel that is mirrored, which is not universal on Journe watches, but they have gotten better over the years. So this is a mirrored bevel, started mechanically, but probably finished with some sort of handheld felt tip drill bit tool to get that mirrored shine. Polished screw heads, engine turning in several sizes on the base plate, and then we've got a 3 Hertz beat rate. We've got a 5 position adjusted free sprung balance with a very large 10.1 millimeter balance, so what it lacks in beat rate at 3 Hertz, it makes up with sheer balance inertia. It's also free sprung for precise adjustment and better shock resistance, and Journe always had the ambition to make an automatic that he felt would live up to the appellation chronomètre, and so he writes chronometer on there, but also notes 5 position adjustment, which is the chronometer and high horology standard. Now, there is only one mainspring here. The Journe has calculated and engineered to have a big flat torque plateau for those 120 chronometric hours. So that's what's being described by 120-hour chronometric power reserve. The flat plateau in the middle of the torque curve, or at the beginning of the torque curve, for that 1 meter long single mainspring. Now we also have a little bit of an off-center rotor. You can see how it's not quite the size of the case back. That's because the Octa caliber was always designed to drive a complications module on the dial side, and something about the mating surface for the module required that the winding mechanism be offset on the case back. So that's why that is the way it is. It's all 30 meters water resistant, so you don't really want to get it wet. It's pretty much dress watch standard in that regard. You can see these little screws. People ask me, what are these called? Those are called Holt head screws. So that's what that is right there. And you can see that this is a reference DN right here. Lots to love. A gold movement in a platinum case. Even the dial is whitened and blackened precious metals. So reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.